you kind of go 77, and when the whole world got turned upside down with the punk movement, which, to me was very fragmented because it was very, very small, but then it really started to expand once it broke out of the UK, and then it was New York, LA, Toronto, and a couple of other cities. Boston, I think, was pretty influential, but it was very, very small because there was a lot of resistance in the US to the punk and new wave movement. It was really like, well, nobody's going to sign us. Nobody's going to publicize it, so let's press our own records, let's start our own fanzines, let's do it ourselves. We're going to get in the van. They got out and they slept on the floors at fans' houses. They slept in the bars. It just they played for peanuts. You think about the most popular bands prior to 76, 77, the bands that were out there were filling arenas at the time, the big ones. Those are mostly your prog bands. You've got out there, Yes, Yes, and Genesis. It just was a world apart from what the average fan was. And so once you get bands that were starting, like you got the the Stranglers and New York Dolls, a couple of years earlier, like they were people's bands, like they were just they were dirt poor, those guys, right? They didn't have two sticks to rub together. A lot of it came out of the art scene as well. It was art and fashion. There was a bit of a change in that world, and that turned things upside down. So then you kind of had the emergence of bands like Television, Blondie, Talking Heads, and things like that. That kind of so one kind of went from punk, and the other was kind of like new wave. And then with the punk movement, you had a reggae movement that all of a sudden they were disenfranchised, but you got like all the time DJs were looking for music to play that wasn't mainstream, and you get this dub coming out of Jamaica that's like you're getting like King Tubby records and U-Roy records and I-Roy and Toots and things like that, and then a UK band starting up like Steel Pulse and Linton Kwesi Johnson were making music that was just out of this world. So that became integrated into that too. So you kind of had this whole mashing of punk music, reggae music, and garage music too. So this whole classic rock thing. When I mentioned like the Yardbirds, the Trogs, the original Birds, not the California ones. It's the Birds, the BIRDs, 13th Floor Elevators. From the original garage scene, things like that. That was all part of that too.
Still believe in the power of rock and roll music.
Hey, thanks for watching. My name is Daniel Sarkisian. I'm an independent filmmaker from Toronto.